Hello and welcome. You're on Friday Double Bill. This is that show where we catch every movie in town and we help you decide whether it's a Dekho or a Peko in the theaters. My name is Mayank Shekhar. That's Fahad Samar. Court, directed by first-time filmmaker Chaitanya Tamhane, is a satire on the court or legal system in India. The cast of characters include two lawyers and a judge. The case being fought in a sessions court in Mumbai relates to a Marathi Dalit Lokshahi or people's poet who recited his poetry in a slum. The words of the poem, the prosecution alleges, leads to a sewage worker committing suicide. The poet is now under trial and jailed by the cops. This award-winning film is primarily in Marathi, also with dialogues in Hindi, English and Gujarati.
You know, Mayank, there has been so much controversy surrounding Marathi films with all the dahi misal and vada pav and all the other stuff, the reservation of prime time slots for these films.
In Maharashtra, yes.
In Maharashtra particularly, naturally being the Marathi bastion, you know, this kind of fantastic cinema, I mean, you don't need reservations, you don't need anything, because good cinema will always have an audience. And it was so marvelous to finally see this film, that this film is actually seeing light of day after winning several international accolades. I mean, I was so blown away by this jewel of a film that gives you such a wonderful satire, slice of life of urban Bombay, Mumbai, with the middle class Maharashtrian milieu, the Gujarati milieu, the whole cosmopolitan nature of the city, the smallest details that this guy has captured, Chaitanya, it's just brilliant. And I think that, you know, you walk away with it thinking that this is not only just Kafka, but it's also just pure genius cinema.
Absolutely. I think to call it a Marathi film would be a huge disservice to a picture like this. I think it's world class, and as world class as Indian cinema can ever possibly get. I think, Father, according to me, a great film is one that really, like great literature also, gets you a better understanding of someone else's life. You're almost like a voyeur, not just a viewer for a film of this nature. And the way we enter the lives of those two lawyers, the way we enter also the life of the judge, I mean, it's fine in a way that only literature or a great novel can be. And look at the performances, ya Fahad. I mean, these are not even actors. Most of the actors in this film were actually picked from banks, from, you know, insurance companies. These were all clerks in regular offices, and, you know, they spent about 8 months getting these non-professional people to turn into actors. And what delivery! I mean, I haven't come across a better Indian film since Ship of Theseus, and I think that's been about a year and a half. It is the finest Indian film I've seen in about a year and a half.
Well, there you have it. I completely agree. And I think the fact that, as you said, I mean, not a single false note struck by any of the most junior actor you'll find in Hindi films looking into the camera, you know, something, the extras will give it away, the junior artists, nothing. This is just such a seamless, beautifully orchestrated film. And what is staggering is the fact that the camera never moves.
Yeah.
Chaitanya just sets up a frame, he locks it, the camera is a block frame, and that's all. You don't even intercut. Maybe twice or thrice in the entire film you've intercut in a scene. You just lock it and let the audience watch life unfold. And I think this is so beautiful. And at one level, the pacing of the film also gives you a sense of how tedious life is and the court procedure is, and how, you know, Tariq pe Tariq, that wonderful cliche. But this is, you know, not melodrama of Sunny Deol, but the real what people go through and the trauma of surviving this completely Kafkaesque.
I agree with you. I think that the long shot and the long takes has been the longest that I saw in a film, which also sort of almost makes you enter that rhythm and the pace of life itself, as you mentioned, Fahad. I'm so glad we both loved it.
You know, we've already discussed what fantastic performances, what a wonderful insight it gives you into this entire milieu of the Marathi culture of Mumbai, the city, the entire legislative trauma and turmoil. But after all of that, I think the real oh my God moments is the insights into the lives of the prosecutor, into the life of the judge also, which is one aspect of it which you never really see. And the film has a wonderful ending with the judge, and he goes on a vacation in a bus full of all this, and you see the amount of human foibles that this judge has. He believes in the most superstitious kind of things, gemology and numerology, and the most atrocious thing that just gives you a thing that here are these people who sit in fate. You know, he can throw this man for sedition for 20 years in jail, and this is a man who has, you know, his wisdom is not much greater than anyone else's. In fact, you sometimes wonder whether he's equipped to sit in judgment of somebody else's life at all.
I agree with you, Fahad. I think the other thing that the film does, and in a great way, of course, is look into various stratas of human society. So you see this upper class, that's the defense lawyer. You see the middle class, which is both the judge and the prosecution at some level, and you see the lowest class, which is, of course, the Lokshai poet or the people's poet. You know, who's pretty much dumped into the court for God knows what reason. The other thing, of course, is the courtroom itself. The film is called Court for a very good reason. You know, the thing is, we've seen the courtroom drama forever. It's a genre of its own, but we've never seen the courtroom as it really is.
Yes.
You know, I think all Hindi movies have really shown our high courts and supreme courts, and they'll look at those massive things. The way the art direction of this film has been done is to show you what a sessions court, and recently I had to go to one, and let's not discuss that anyway. But hey, it is exactly the way I saw it in the picture.
Well, if there was any doubt as to what we felt about it, or certainly I felt about it, this is an emphatic dekho. Please, theatre mein jaake dekho, wherever you can find it. If it's not playing in a cinema hall near you, try and access it in any way possible. But this is a film you absolutely must see. Dekho, misal pav, dahi misal, vada pav, whatever ke saath mein dekho, because you will love it.
Well, the first time I saw this movie, Fahad, was in the Mumbai Film Festival. That was a year ago. And it's the only film that I can think of that won the best film in the competition section. And since then, of course, it's grown leaps and bounds. It's picked up all the top prizes wherever it's been entered into a film festival. It won the best first film prize at Venice. And I can see why, because while it may be a very specific story to Bombay, it's also a very universal story of how power treats people in any society. As with great art, there is too much empathy for your own good, and I think ek baar nahi, pardon the pun, baar dekho, and is weekend ko definitely dekho. That's code for you. That's it for Friday Double Bill. Tell us what you think of the films. Tell us what you think of the show. Subscribe to our channel.